The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. Thank you for joining us again. It is awesome. Here we are in December. Real estate is winding up the year. It's fascinating to even think what 2021 will be like. We have assembled, as always, tremendous guests for you today. And we're going to start with Nathan Marks with the Marks Group in Spring, Texas. Hey, Nathan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well,
excited to be here.
In fact, we have part of your group here today, and you are Nathan Marks. You are the kingpin of the whole group, right?
That's what they call me.
There you go.
They call me boss, but no, really. No, it's great to be here. Yeah, we are the Marks Group. We've got a couple buyers agents and our team members with us. Carrie Smith is here. We have Julie Pruski, who was unable to make it with us today. And we have our lovely transaction coordinator, Tamara Marks, sitting in the corner over here. But
sounds like she's related.
She's related. She's my wife, and she decided to jump on this boat when I decided to form a team after several years of doing this as an individual. And it's actually been great. It really has.
Awesome. Well, first of all, as people here in Houston certainly know, Spring, Texas, they have an idea, but even a lot of people maybe inside the loop may not know much about Spring. So we're going to enlighten people. We want to enlighten people today, but also keeping in mind there are people outside of the Houston, in fact, outside of the Texas area that hear this show. So let's tell them, first of all, about Spring, Texas, a little bit. Where is it in relationship to Houston? And even what are some of the things that are drawing people in, I think, record numbers to the Spring area?
Right. So Spring's located about 25 miles north of Houston. The biggest thing that we've got going for us is Exxon moved their world headquarters there about 5 years ago or so, which has brought in lots of families to the area. In fact, it's a little frustrating traffic these days up there. I used to hate driving inside the loop because of the traffic. Now I feel like I'm still inside the loop when I'm in the Woodlands area. But it's big, it's booming out there, tons of new construction, and the price range, what you're getting for a certain price is kind of unheard of. So what would cost you $500,000 inside the loop, you're getting the same product for $300,000 up in the Spring area. And so the school districts are great. A lot of people are kind of moving outside to that suburbia area to raise families and go to those better school districts. And so because of those issues with the Exxon, the good school districts, HP is actually moving their facilities out to the area because of those major influences have just come in and we're blowing it up out there.
And backing up, you mentioned Exxon has been there 5 years. Is that what you just said?
About 5 years, correct.
I mean, is the time flying? I remember when we were talking about Exxon going to be there.
Right.
It seemed like it wasn't that long ago, but it is 5 full years there.
It's been probably, around 5 years. I know how excited we were to have the Grand Parkway, and we live really close watching it be developed, and we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait for it to get open. Now that it's open, my life has changed. It's a completely different ball game now because we service everywhere. We go all over Texas, really. We have listings in Victoria right now, Huntsville. We've gone down to Galveston, things like that. But when doing business in Kingwood, it was that dreaded drive from Spring to Kingwood. It was horrible. But now with the Grand Parkway, we're there in 20, 25 minutes. It's no issue at all. We're up in Livingston in just under an hour. So the Grand Parkway has really made a huge game changer. And that's, again, with the Spring area, to be out there in that area, to say you're in the quote-unquote the Woodlands and having to make a drive somewhere further for work, that Grand Parkway has just made it really easy for a commute.
And for those listening outside of Houston, Houston has several highways. It's like the planet Saturn, I say. We have these rings, right. 610, Beltway 8, and the Grand Parkway, as Nathan is describing, also known as 99. Just for some reason, it just jumped in my head. Nathan, I don't know if you're young enough, old enough to remember Agent 99 on the show Get Smart. Well, maybe the listeners are out there, but there was Maxwell Smart and his sidekick was Agent 99, just saying. But you're right. The Grand Parkway.
You're right. You have a little more gray in your beard to remember that than I do.
You noticed. Indeed. Thank you so much for that. But that's right. That 99 has done so much for real estate, and it is super convenient and fun to drive on in my experience.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We're up in Spring. We actually have another office up in Willis, just north of Conroe area, which is even more north of Spring. But we're with RE/MAX Integrity. It's great. Both those offices, we have just over 100 agents in there, but my team specifically is just us three, and we're rocking and rolling.
Give us a quick word on, in those 5 years as Exxons, just to kind of recap, the 5 years that they have been there. How have you noticed the real estate since they opened their doors until now, let's say, and then we'll take a look at the future a little bit, but how's the market been?
So when we first got word that Exxon was going to be coming there, we started seeing sellers kind of jump early and trying to list their houses and trying to get the maximum price. And we didn't see it right at the beginning, but as those families started coming in, we were noticing these high executive Exxon guys come in and just pay top dollar for these houses. We didn't care. They didn't care about appraisals. They'll cover the difference, so they'll cover cash. I had clients that actually bought a house in 2012. Let's just say they paid $300,000 for it. 2 years later, they're selling it for cash to an Exxon guy for $500 cash, and so it was just crazy at the time. But things are kind of tapered off a little bit. But so now you've got these guys, these Exxon guys. Some of them are being actually transferred back out of Houston, and they're going to relist their house, and they hadn't really caught up. The values haven't really caught up to what they paid for it 4 or 5 years ago, because it was in such high demand. You had 100,000 families moving here all at one time, and it was just kind of a bidding war on every property, and it was who has the most money, who's going to put down the most money, who's going to pay cash.
And when the people came to the new Exxon at the time in these 5 years, where were they coming from? What city, what state?
Most of them were from Virginia. And so there were actually developers, builders that were building homes that were kind of reminiscent of a Virginia-style home. Subdivisions were going up, so when these guys were moving here, they didn't necessarily fall in love with our brick and mortar and foundations and stuff. They wanted their shaker-style home. Yeah, right. They wanted where they came in and made it feel like they were at home. They were planting maple trees instead of pine and oak trees in the subdivision. They were building these type of homes where when they came into the subdivision, it felt like we were back home in Virginia.
So right now, people in Spring, Texas, let's take that area. You said you cover so many areas, even going down to the Galveston area. But in Spring right now, what is the attraction? It is, I don't know how far it is from the center of Houston, let's say, or let's say the 610 loop. But what is the attraction? Why are people going there? Let's say, I guess you have people from inside the loop in Houston or other parts of Houston that are going out to Spring, right?
Right. When I first got in the business, I was obviously younger. So my friends were buying homes that were inside the loop. They wanted the Heights and the Heights area, the trendy spots, stuff like that. But now as they're getting older and having kids, they're looking to raise a family, so they're coming out to the suburbs. And they're doing their research on school districts and things like that. And we live in the Klein ISD, Klein School District, which has gotten top ratings, and Tomball School District is really close. One attraction is the amenities. There's just about everything you can possibly think of out there that's inside the loop. Then you have the school districts on top of that. The other big thing, you get a little bit more lot. You get a little bit more house for what you're paying for down here. So they're looking for a backyard where they can fit a swimming pool, swing set, things like that, parks, trails, all that kind of stuff. And it's safe. Like, they're looking for safety. What's going to be the best for my kid? Where can I raise a family and not have to move every 5 years because this area is now being, kind of run down, and this area is being run down. So they're looking for those areas where they can raise their family and feel like they can be there forever.
So as we look just in the past year in 2020, as far as Spring goes, it's been a good year. A lot of homes have been sold. Right.
It's been a great year. We've had a fantastic year this year. In fact, we were on pace to break our record last year for us personally as a team. Last year we did very, very well. And at the beginning of the year, we're big goal setters. We set goals, and then the COVID hit. So we were curious, how is it going to look? But so we just sat back, focused. We didn't let it change our drive at all. We sat down and we wrote a goal. There was nothing going on. There's no pandemic. There's nothing going on. We set our goals and we wrote and we drove it out, put our heads down. We got to work. And now we're going to end up beating 2019's record that we set last year. And I don't know if there's a lot of realtors out there that can say, I raised my business 30% more than in 2019 than we did in 2020. And I attribute that a lot to being in the area that we're at.
Sounds like it is a great area. And then as we look ahead, and you probably have done this a month or so ago, getting ready for the new year, planning, setting those goals once again, 2021. What your forecast hat, what's it telling you based on what you're seeing and activity-wise?
What I can see is it's not going to slow down. The interest rates, as long as the interest rates are staying the way that they are, I have a lot of clients that were renters, and they're looking at what they can purchase a home for these days. They're getting a lot more house for less than what they're paying in rent, and just due to those interest rates. So as long as those interest rates stay good and the prices stay fair, we're going to see a lot of people coming out and buying real estate. The other issue is a lot of these companies who have said, we're going to be working from home now, our kids are going to be homeschooled now, those guys are looking for bigger houses. So they're looking to sell their smaller starter homes. They're looking to upgrade into a bigger house. We need a media room. We need an office. We need a swimming pool. We have to have something like that. So you're going to start seeing that a lot, people trying to upgrade as these companies start making the shift from coming into an office to start working from home.
And you're ready for them.
I'm ready for them.
Nathan Marks, the Marks Group. You're ready for action, ready there to help answer questions all the time. What are some of the other things in spring, let's say, as far as people that we're talking about, people coming from out of Houston, would you have people that are retiring that are going to your area?
I would say the more people that are coming into our area are new families, newlyweds, looking to start a family. That's who's coming out. As far as retirement goes, we have several actually retirement communities where they're building homes for 55 plus. So yeah, I would say a lot of downsizing is going on as well.
I was thinking about actually when I'm 55 to maybe go out there and retire sometime, or maybe around when I finally get to 60 or something. But sounds like a great place.
Right, we have the house for you. It's already ready to go.
People are finding spring here in Houston, but also let's talk, Nathan, about people that might be coming from out of the state. You seeing anyone from out of the state?
Right, huge influx from California. We have a lot of people coming in from California that we're dealing with, and not necessarily just moving here from California, but a lot of investors coming out of California. I'm actually under contract with an investor on a investment property. He lives in California. It's sight unseen. He just sees a great deal, and we run the numbers. It works for him. In fact, this investor has purchased 13 homes in the past 2 years, sight unseen. He's never seen one of the houses. Correct.
In spring, in the area.
In spring, in the area.
Residential homes.
Residential homes.
How did he find you, or how did you find him?
A referral. He was referred to me.
The power of the referral.
That's right. That's right. He was referred to me by another investor friend of mine.
So he's buying all these homes, never seen them.
Never seen a one.
Has he been out to take a trip yet to say, hey, you might want to take a look?
He actually is coming in town December 22nd for the first time to see his houses. And it's been 4 years.
Wow.
Right.
And it's worked, I'm guessing, smoothly. There has to be a...
Obviously, I know what I'm talking about, right? Because he keeps buying them from me. So it's working for him. He's happy. He's not telling me to sell them, and he hadn't fired me yet. So we're doing something
he's leasing them out?
Correct. Leasing them out.
That is awesome.
Right.
Super awesome. Fascinating. What about the East Coast, other than Virginia with the Exxon? What about, let's say, New York City or
I haven't seen too much of that. I've heard
more so much about
California. I hear
people,
more of California, Colorado as well. I kind of see a trade on that. I see people coming in from Colorado, but we have some clients that are moving to Colorado. But as far as the East Coast goes, I haven't seen too much. I've actually had clients leave here and go to the East Coast, but I haven't seen too many people from the East Coast come down here yet. The market's great.
Also, as far as real estate goes, you could be doing a lot of things.
Right.
You're helping this investor. That sounds like a tremendous, just one of the great customers that you have, clients that you have. But how'd you get into real estate? Let's tell people what you love so much about it.
Yeah, so I got into real estate. I was actually a real estate appraiser. I became an appraiser in 2003. Had a real estate appraisal company. We were doing really well. And then in 2010, the government implemented the HVCC, the Home Valuation Code of Conduct. And that kind of took me out of the deal because I based my business on creating relationships with lenders and bankers and things like that. So whenever they put the middleman in, the government came and put the middleman, these appraisal management companies, it kind of knocked me out. I can no longer have the relationship or any communication with lenders and mortgage brokers at that time. So they couldn't call me, they couldn't use me. So I went from 100 to 0 real fast. And so I ended up finding myself taking some continuing ed courses, and it ended up turning into taking some real estate courses to where I got my real estate license. And then from there, I was introduced to RE/MAX Integrity, Ruben and Nancy Villarreal over there by a good friend of mine, Steve Kenny. There's your shout out, buddy. And the rest is history. I started doing that.
A quick word, why do you like it so much?
I like it, number one, the freedom of it all. I don't miss my kids' football games, cheerleading, anything like that. I set my own schedule. That's the one reason that I really like it is the freedom that it allows me to have. But two, I really enjoy working with people, helping them make the biggest investment that they're ever going to make in their life. And I love that I know my product, I know what my client's buying, and I know it forward and backward. And for me to be able to educate them and walk them through that and see them happy and then in turn refer me over the years, there's nothing better than that.
There you go. Nathan, let's tell people how they can reach out to you, whether they're here in Houston or anywhere else.
Right. You can find us on Facebook, the Marks Group, on Instagram. You can reach us at 713-419-3284. That's my personal cell number. And we'll let my other team members do their deal and pass along their information.
And your cell number again is?
713-419-3284.
Thank you so much, Nathan Marks, the Marks Group. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Let's welcome Carrie Smith with the Marks Group. Hey, Carrie, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we know a guy named Nathan Marks. Do you know him?
I do know him. I met him in the parking lot.
How about that? Well, listen, it sounds like in Spring, Texas, this Marks Group is really something. Let's tell people a little bit about it.
We like to think we are. We obviously we're having a great year this year. We're a small team. Good thing about having us together is that our clients know that the three of us come together and work for them, to all of our clients, for their best interest of them. So, I mean, great to have a team, right?
Well, and one of the things that we see, let's say I'm a potential buyer or a seller, and I'm thinking, let's say I don't know anybody, I'm just going on a referral, or I'm also looking at various websites of different companies, and I'm going to say, well, here I could work with this individual real estate agent, or this agent is part of a certain team group, like in your case, the Marks Group. Mm-hmm. So as a buyer or seller, we have the choice where we could use the individual agent or the agent that has the banner, the team. Let's tell people, like if someone asked you, hey, well, I could go with this person, my brother-in-law, let's say. It's the first job he ever had. But anyway, we could take this person, or we could go with someone that has the team, like the Marks Group. What can we expect from the team?
So we all bring something different to the team, which is great for our buyers and our sellers. You know, Nathan with his appraisal background, that's a wealth of knowledge for our clients.
Right there.
Absolutely. And for us, I mean, you know, especially for me, just starting out in the business, he's been great. So with that background, and then, you know, I was in marketing for a lot of years, so I know how to market the house, how to stage the homes, how to make it look good. And then Julie's the same way. I mean, we just all work together really well. And you know that having one person is great, but having three behind you and working to do things together, it's just so much easier and so much better. So
you're getting the talents and skills of the other individuals
Absolutely.
On the team. That is, your sellers and your buyers have that. You mentioned the word staging. So when do you stage, let's say, a listing?
So we like to have, obviously, after we go on a listing appointment, talk with the clients, see what their thoughts are on the housing, what they want to do, what their vision is, and then we walk around the house and we give them a plan. You know, we need you to do this, we need you to do that, and we give them homework, and then we come back, and when they're ready, we kind of tweak some things here and there for pictures, because we want the house to look fabulous on the pictures, because everybody knows if you go on the websites and pictures look like, you don't want to go see that house. So
I saw, in fact, it was this morning, I was looking at listings just for whatever reason, for the heck of it, and I saw a home, And, of course, one of the things, you don't want to have personal things, right? Your personal pictures when you're listing the house for someone else to buy. But I saw one of the most dramatic no-nos of that, and that was in the living room by the fireplace. There was like a 20, maybe a 2.5-foot painting of, I guess, the husband and wife.
Oh, yeah.
It was gigantic on an easel to the left of the fireplace. I'm like, it's going to be a little harder to sell your home when you have that personal imprint still on it for someone that wants to buy it.
And that's one of the first things we tell them, take down the large oil paintings of yourself and take down the family photos and things like that. Just so the buyers can come in and they can see themselves in their house. They're not seeing you in that house still. So that's kind of like where we start with them as well. So
you can visualize that, can't you?
Absolutely.
A big picture.
Yeah,
there they are.
I can. I'm thinking about going to get one.
I wonder what that's like to live in your house. You're married and you come home and it's like, hey, there we are, honey.
There we are.
Look how happy we're. I don't know.
Maybe that's as a reminder, right? Look how happy we are.
We have to remind ourselves. Yeah, I mean, we could do 20 minutes just on that from the comedic value. But as far as real estate goes, when we want to sell our home, no, we want to make it, it becomes a product. We want to make it as desirable as possible for the next potential family or individual, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Less clutter. We like to take away the clutter so people can actually see the rooms and not the stuff that you have in the rooms.
Let me ask you this. So let's say you look at 10 potential listings. Is there any of those 10, just on average, or take your last 10, whatever, is there any of those 10 that don't have too much clutter?
Yeah, I mean.
So you've seen some homes that are kind of ready to go?
Yeah, I have.
That's great.
I have, but then I would say probably 8 of those 10 are homes that we have to spend a month or so decluttering.
That's a big job.
It is.
No doubt about it. So you help them with the staging and the tips. So that's a real service. They're ready to go, but also still staying with the seller as you're advising that seller. And the market is brisk, and if it's a nice house and the photographs are nice like that, they have to be ready to know where they're going to go.
They absolutely, especially right now. I mean, there's not a lot of inventory, and with the interest rate still so low, there's a lot of buyers out there. So if you're going to put your house on the market, you have to have your plan lined up of where you're going next, because if it's priced right and it looks great and there's not a whole lot of that a buyer would have to come in and do to it.
That's what they love.
It's going to be, it's going to go quick.
What if it has a pool?
Even better.
It's sold.
Done.
Right there.
Absolutely.
Right?
If it's got a study and a pool.
Sold.
Done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But they better know where they're going.
Absolutely.
And the people right now, just for example, the ones that are listed with your company that you know of, where are they going? Are they leaving the state? Are they downsizing? What's kind of is there a common thread that you're seeing, Carrie?
Several of my buyers are doing that. They have been in their homes since this whole thing started, and they are realizing we have to have an office to work out of. Our kids need a pool to swim in so we can send them outside, or we need a playroom bigger, or we need, So a lot of our sellers are selling and buying better, bigger to accommodate their needs that they've realized that they need in this past since March.
It's interesting. We haven't done it in all our 353 shows really focused on the reasons people sell, but we know there's many reasons: upsize, downsize, divorce, all these different things, moving with another job. But I think one of the reasons people just, hey, I'm tired. I want to change.
Yeah.
We live only X amount of years. And why do we want to be in the same house all the time? Life's about a little bit of variety. So, hey, it's time to change. Just get a new set of walls and go from there.
I think I've posted several Facebook memes this year on, are you tired
Time
of your
for
house?
A change.
You've been in your house for 6 months.
right.
You ready to go? I'm ready to move. I'm right here.
I mean, that shakes things up a little
Absolutely.
bit in life, and that makes life an adventure of sorts. And I think that's a good reason to move. So if you're out there listening, time for a change, maybe. Investigate that. You can always talk to Carrie Smith right there, the Marks Group.
That's right.
She'll help you stage.
That's right.
And so much more.
That's right. Absolutely.
So what are some of the other things? When we see people, Carrie, let's talk about the buyers. Now, you're in real estate only a little bit of time, relatively speaking. Mm-hmm. What is it about real estate that pulled you in to say, hey, Carrie, this is for you, real estate?
Well, I used to do marketing before. I loved to just be out there. That's kind of my wheelhouse. I love talking to people.
You and I are talking right now, so it's all great.
I can talk to anybody. That's what I've always been told. But but yeah, and kind of going back to what Nathan said too, like the thrill of actually being at the closing table and seeing somebody buy their dream home or their first home, or
that's a big moment too.
Yeah,
the first
absolutely.
home.
And then the Marks Group, we work by referral only. We don't really work off leads and things like that. So our most important asset is to keep those clients as relationships, because they're the ones that are going to refer people in the future to us, and that's how our business stays in business.
Really, indeed. And in fact, that's the thing. I would think it's a great thing when you help a person and then maybe you help their children later on as they want to buy their own home. That has to be, like Nathan was saying, a great feeling, no doubt, but it's also a tremendous service. And people want to deal with people they trust, they've heard about, they know other people trust. I mean, that's what we're looking for.
And our, really, truly, our, it doesn't end at the closing table. Our relationship with our clients does not end at the closing table. I have clients closed 6 months ago. They need a handyman or a painter or anything like that, and they know that they can call me, and that's what I'm here for, no matter how long it is since we've closed with them.
As we think about spring, Texas, and we started out the show where we talked about painting a little bit of a picture of it. I'm picturing trees. I haven't been through there lately, but are there a little bit of a rolling hills or any kind of terrain there that we could have? I mean, it can't be as flat as the center of Houston. Do you have any? You got trees, right?
We got trees, yeah. I mean,
you're not going to promise rolling hills.
No,
though.
I'm not promising rolling hills.
So
unless you count 99 as a rolling hill, and that's
there
about
is
it.
some elevations on 99. But as far as if I'm a buyer and I'm looking for new construction in Spring, Texas, am I going to find it?
Oh, absolutely.
At what price point or price points? Can I buy it at 300?
We're seeing 300s. We're seeing the smaller starter homes, neighborhoods, and the starting, upper 100s to
upper 100s.
to mid 200s, and then you'll have the mid 2s to 3s, and you've kind of got them all over the board.
So you're saying right now for 300, let's raise it up, 350. Said, hey, 350. I want to buy a home with brand new construction. I can do that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
That's a
you
good
better
thing.
hurry, because other people are doing the same thing.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the market is brisk. How do you advise that buyer, considering the market as it is right now? How do you tell that buyer that they better be ready when they see the property they like? Because they may be in a bidding war at this point.
Absolutely. And, we take buyers out after they've been pre-approved. So we know that, and honestly, truly lately, I take my computer with me when I go see homes, because if I have to sit in a house and write a contract while we're there, I'll do it, because it is that market right now with multiple offers and things like that on homes. So
that's a great thing. So going back to that number 10, for buyers, out of, let's say, the last 10 buyers that you may have helped, how many of those were cash buyers, if any?
I've only had a couple cash buyers lately. A lot of people are financing because the interest rates are so low. I mean, why not? That's
a great thing. And we hope they stay that way.
Yes, fingers crossed.
So what are some of the other things you're seeing as far as trends this year? And as you look ahead, you have personal goals within the Marks team, no doubt. What are some of the things let's say you're going to focus on maybe a little bit more 2021?
I think 2021, I can't really make many predictions, because who would have thought 2020 would have turned out the way it did? But
that's right.
But for me, I think my biggest focus is going to be on the technology side of things for our group. I know we do enough to get by, but I think that's it's with everybody working from home. People want to be able to take those tours online, and so kind of researching and learning more about those tools that we have at our hands for our buyers and our sellers.
And before we close the segment, Carrie, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing or anything else?
Well, I would just say, the market is hot right now, and if you're ready to sell, now's the time. If you're ready to buy, still the time with the great interest rates.
Who should they call?
And they should call me, Carrie Smith.
There you go. The Marks Group.
That's right.
Carrie, what's your phone number?
713-299-0826.
It's that easy. Or if you're driving, you can Google Carrie Smith, the Marks Group. She's going to come right up, right?
That's right.
Or give her a call at 713-299-0826. Carrie Smith. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
I say it all the time. Almost all the time. That is, stay close to your Stewart Title business development officer. And guess what? We have one of the A-plus team of our business development officers right here. She is Lynn Riddle in the Spring area. Lynn, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Bill. Thanks for having me.
It's been a while. Glad to see you again. Glad. Thank you for bringing the Marks team, too. The Marks group,
they are
that is.
awesome.
They really are.
They are.
So let's tell people, Lynn, about your office at Stewart Title. And by the way, it's a brand new one, too.
Yes, sir. We just moved. We relocated from Loetta Road to Highway 249. We are now located at 19500 State Highway 249. We're on the second floor, Suite 250. Beautiful new office.
And I want to say something about Kim McCall. All of our Stewart,
yes.
She has you talk about home staging, interior design. She has done
She's phenomenal.
A tremendous job at all, if not most, of our Stewart offices at taking them beyond to the next level in terms of decor and comfort and beauty. That when you're ready to close, you're just like, I don't want to leave. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, you
That's
feel
what's
like you're
happening
at
your
home.
place.
Yes, it's wonderful. Can't wait till we can use our big new training room.
Well, that too, but I hope
Yeah.
you're listening, Kim McCall.
Yes, Kim, we love you. You've done a
you.
fantastic job.
Indeed. So it's a beautiful office. We know that. And I guess you just said you have a training room there, huh?
We do. Yes, we can do virtual trainings. I do have a couple of real estate offices coming in and filming some virtual trainings to make it easier for their agents to see. It's very conducive for Zooming and filming. Since we can't do a lot of in-person stuff, we can schedule that. So that's a value that we're offering since we can't meet in person all the time.
And when you said that word value, that is so important, Lynn, because when we think I say about the Stewart Title Business Development Officer bringing value, that's what you're doing for the real estate community, to the realtors you're serving, and all the other real estate professionals that are in your orbit there. We want to bring value, just like this radio show we hope brings value. This is, by the way, show number 354.
Yep.
We hope we've done a little bit of helping and inspiring and educating along the way, and a little entertaining as well. But value is so important, and that's what you and each one of our business development officers do here in Houston and far beyond.
Yes, sir. That's our goal, to be that resource for the realtors, whatever it is that they need to help support their business. What they do for their clients, we do for them. So I like to say we try to offer the Disney experience in closings.
Wow, what's the Disney experience?
Well,
the funnest place on earth. There
the
you go.
funnest place on earth. Come see us at Stewart Title Champions. You'll see.
If you're going to close, you might as well have some fun closing.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. And the other thing, and when we think about it, people can hear you. They hear our voices. You can know a little bit about a person from the voice, even if you've never seen them. But yourself and the other people on our team, I know our management team has looked long and hard for each and every one of us, and we really have great people, and you're one of them.
I appreciate that, Bill. You are too.
And I thank you for that. But I even knew you before you were with Stewart, and
yes,
it's
that's right.
One of those things. I met you at an event. It's like, wow, that's a real nice person.
And who'd have thunk we'd be sitting here today working for the same company
years later, and people are hearing us, and hopefully they're enjoying what they're doing too, huh, Lynn?
That's right.
So as you think, we're winding up the year there at your office, 2020, you look ahead, what are some of the things you're thinking about? And the other thing, when I say value that you bring and our other business development people do, is that you have events for realtors. You mentioned one already, but they've been hampered a little bit this year, but we still have March 4th. But there's once things open up next year a little bit, we hope, there's going to be more things. You'll get to utilize the training room. But what are some of the things that realtors should think about in your area that you're going to be doing for them, or things like that?
Well, Trek once again changed the contract. So it's going to be a mandatory CE credit that realtors will have to attend. And I am offering that on December 16th, done through Rob Cook and Chris Kelso.
Oh, we love those guys.
Definitely. I knew you'd know them. And so we are offering that via Zoom on December 16th. There's a Facebook event, and they can email me at lynn.riddle@stewart.com, and we can get them signed up. And then, of course, we've got Dr. Ted Jones coming, and that will also be virtual, and that's going to be January 16th for Becky Bohannon, our Tomball rep, and myself.
I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Ted C. Jones. I refer to him as the eighth wonder in the real estate world because he does so much. He lives and breathes the real estate economic mechanics that go into play. He's up at 3 a.m. researching things. This guy knows more about the economy and real estate and has through the many decades, and he delivers his information where he's fun to listen to, unlike some very dry, factual economists. Ted has a real knack for communicating and helping people learn that information. And he's going to be on the show in a couple weeks. He's going to be there. So if you're a realtor and you want to see the presentation Lynn is talking about, just reach out to you, Lynn Riddle. And you have an advantage. People can remember your name, Riddle, right?
Yep. Riddle me this.
Riddle me this. There you go. They can reach out to you. And Lynn, what else would you like people to know before we close out the segment?
Well, just know that we at Stewart Title Champions are here to support you. Even if you're not in the Champions area, you're closing in the Spring area, give us a try. We'll do a great job for you. And just look out for all of our events, the value that we can add to help you and support you in your business. And you can reach me at lynn.riddle@stewart.com. You can call my office at 281-374-8700.
The number again is?
281-374-8700.
And again, if you're driving, all you have to do is remember Lynn Riddle, Stewart Title, or put in Riddle, Stewart Title. I bet you come up right there.
I bet I do.
It's going to be awesome. Lynn, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill.
It is time for coaching once again on Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Let's talk to William Holt. William Holt Coaching. It's the Holt Coaching Method. He's right here. Hey, William, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Bill.
I'm on your website, williamholt.com. There's many topics you talk about. But today, as real estate professionals may be listening to the show and anyone else, communication is so important, verbal and all those things. Give us an idea of some of the things that you help people with and some of those bullet points in communication.
It's a broad subject. I think you'll agree with that. And I'd like to focus in on one of those bullet points, and it's that great communicators are great storytellers. I mean, storytelling goes back 5,000 years. One of the most hypnotic phrases you can hear as a child and you carry into your adulthood is once upon a time. 70% of all communication nowadays in business is via story. So if you're a good storyteller, you're a good communicator. And also if the story has humor in it, that's the fastest way to rapport with anybody is if you can make them laugh. Why do speakers, when they're starting off, why do they say something that's humorous or even tell a joke? Because they know that this is going to get the audience on their side. It's going to achieve that instant rapport. And the way that is done physically is that there are mirror neurons in our brains. And these mirror neurons, they mirror each other so that you can really feel what's going on if somebody's sad or if somebody is happy. And the best way to achieve that rapport is through the humor, and you got their attention then to let them know about what it is that you want them to know that you can benefit them.
That's right. Storytelling is so important. And by storytelling, we mean we're not saying make up a story, but have something that's engaging that pulls people in. Like I'm thinking right away of a real estate agent doing a listing presentation. It's the way you engage with that person. You may even you may say something like, I recently had a home very similar to yours, thus pulling that person in and then explaining what you're able to do and just bringing someone in on that in that way in terms of an emotional engagement and then attachment. And people remember it easier as well, I think.
They do. They remember the stories for a long, long time. I remember when I was back in my real estate days, and they were teaching us the FFF, feel, felt, found, when we were answering objections. And they would say, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found. And we tell a story that was similar to what they are experiencing or what they're concerned about, that and to allay their fears. And then they'll remember that story after you leave from the presentation.
That's correct. So what are some of the things where people may make mistakes or we omit things sometimes where it doesn't enable us to be great communicators? What are some of those things that we should be thinking about that sometimes many of us forget?
Well, the first one that pops into my head is sometimes people talk in such general terms. They don't get down to specifics. They don't get down to some kind of emotion that they can help you to experience, so that, there's some bonding between the two. I remember coaching this very high up gentleman on a C-suite level in one of the top 5 energy companies. And I asked him how he got to be at the level of his previous job, because he had just been demoted. And he told me this very generally, well, I did this and I did that. And I gave the people education, and then I promoted them. And I interrupted him and said, that's going to be the most boring story I've ever heard. I said, doesn't you ever get any kind of feedback from your boss about, how you're coming across? And he tells me that I'm not a team player. That's when I got feedback. I said, now that's a better story.
In that case, that was specific. You're not a team player. That was the message. Apparently, that person was able to communicate that very well. He remembered it.
Exactly. And it had some impact because of the place that it was communicated also.
Is the other thing about communication, it's not just talking. Our listening skills have to be always fine-tuned and top-notch. Give us a word on listening skills, how we can improve those.
Well, I talk about in my coaching certification course that there's 8 levels of listening, and 3 of them are nearly not listening very well. It's just, waiting for the person to be finished so that I can give you the words that I've been composing, not listening to you, and I'm about to present to you. But listening deeply, you can listen with your eyes, you can listen with your feelings. There's so many different ways to do that. And by also monitoring yourself, listening to what's going on inside yourself, to know that sometimes you're getting in your way, or you're getting some kind of commentary going on inside your brain that you want to put on hold for maybe another time to look into. So I teach the people all kinds of techniques to be able to use the deep listening at those different levels, so that you can. One of the greatest gifts we ever give somebody is for them to be profoundly heard. And that's what my whole communication technique is based on. First, you want to be in a resourceful state so that you're able to, put your feelings and problems aside for the moment, be in the present moment. Then you want to gain great rapport. And as I said, about the humor or something that you have in common with the person, then you start listening deeply. And you want them to present the complete picture of what it is they see this concern or this problem, however they're couching it. And you want to have every piece of that puzzle, and you just keep saying to them, tell me more, tell me more. So you've got the complete picture. And then you may be able to ask some questions that make some suggestions that might help them to get to a more healthful approach. But you first have to fully listen to them and fully gotten the picture of what it is that's going on for them.
I think what you said in the very beginning, I know that happens to me all the time, and it's not that we have the wrong intent, but that is, as we're listening to someone, we're thinking about what we're going to say next because we want it to be right. So that's a trap we fall into, and especially as I do radio interviews and interviews with people, that's the thing I'm always thinking, well, what am I going to say next? But sometimes that can get in the way, not just of my deep listening, but anybody else. So that's a good word right there. We're talking with William Holt. His website is williamholt.com. What are some of the other things before we close the segment, William, to think about?
Well, you also want to complete what you're doing. You want to you can use it in for you. It's called a open loop. It's like the end of every soap opera. There's the cliffhanger, that brings you back to look at the next one, because as human beings, we love to close the loop. We don't want to have open loops just all over our lives. But it's also in terms of completing with relationships. And so You want to complete conversations. You want to complete, suggestions that you make to people and follow up on them. So you can close the loop, and it's very satisfying when somebody experiences that you get back to them, you follow up with them. They say the fortune is in the follow-up, and that's in terms of listening. That's in terms of, initiating rapport, that you want to keep it going, and you want them to be able to trust it and to experience it in a way that they feel is going to better themselves.
That's right. That's called resolution. And as a musician, even in the language of music, depending on the chord or the key that a given song is in, at the end of that song, usually there's a resolution to that musical theme, to that key that it's in. So resolution is something we long for. We want to know what happens next, and we also want to know that things are resolved. William, let's tell people how they can reach out to you. The website is williamholt.com, and if they want to give you a call.
They give me a call at 713-240-0009. That's better than 007. I'm 0009.
0009. Yeah, I just watched a James Bond movie the other day. Let's tell them that phone number.
Yeah, we lost James Bond. Darn it.
Once again, William, your phone number is
713-240-0009. 0009.
WilliamHolt.com. William, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure, Bill. I look forward to talking with you again in the future.
Real Estate Matters would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Drum roll, please. John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. Here we are.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
It's awesome, John. It's always awesome to talk insurance and to think about it, because this time of year, I think about it all year, but this time of year even more so.
Absolutely. So we always strive to help our clients make confident decisions with their insurance. And we believe that once you've made that confident decision, you're confident in whatever that decision is, that ultimately then you become properly insured. And today I wanted just to make sure that people had a feel for all the different ways that we can help them be confidently insured with their insurance. From an individual's insurance perspective, it kind of needs to reflect their own personality and their own needs, that it's going to be customized, that no individual is the same, and every individual is going to have a different need or want. So we have a variety of personal plans that we can put in place for our clients in order to help them be properly insured, whether it be homeowners insurance, renter's insurance. If you are a renter, you want to be able to protect the property that you have.
Second homeowner insurance.
Second homeowner.
I got 2 home policies with you.
Absolutely. So, and there could be a vacation property would be something that potentially would need to have uniquely to your current home policy. An umbrella, if you feel like that you need some additional liability coverage beyond what you currently have. Investment property, or sometimes you'll hear it called dwelling fire. So if you have some investment properties, we can help you with that coverage. Flood insurance is always important, especially in the greater Houston area. We can help you with that. Auto, motorcycle coverage. Wind, many times you'll need to have a separate policy beyond your homeowner. So wind is a policy we can help with. And then watercraft for your boat, jet skis, things like that. So those are an idea of some of the policies and programs that we can help on a personal line side. For the business, the same no two clients are alike philosophy remains. So again, we would want to customize it based upon your needs and your wants as a business owner. But there are, again, a variety of plans that we can help you put together on. So professional liability, or sometimes you hear it called errors and omissions, we can help you with that. A general liability policy to help potential property damage or injury to an individual a client or prospect. Cyber liability coverage, workers' compensation, so that's coverage if one of your employees gets hurt. A surety bond or commercial property coverage, an escrow security bond, or commercial auto coverage. Those are some of the policies that we have in place that we can help build that plan to make sure that you're properly insured.
John, that menu almost rivals the once grand buffet at the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas, where there are so many things on there. Now, I don't know what they're doing now with 2020, if they even still have it, but there are many things that you're offering in an incredible way right there. Your people are doing this all the time, helping people, talking about each and every one of those special, and each one's special in its own right,
Absolutely.
special insurance needs right there. And I'm thinking, you mentioned watercraft, you mentioned flood, wind. I know some places that are not far from here at the studio at 950 KPRC, and that is, I hear, and I've never owned a oceanside property, but in Galveston, there's special insurance needs people have there.
Well, you're going to have wind insurance for sure. You're going to want to have some flood coverage. So absolutely, if it's a vacation property, you're going to want to have a different coverage. If it's been vacant for a while, then you're going to want to look at a separate type of policy. So that's why it's important to visit with one of our insurance advisors, so you have a feel for what those options are, and you have a feel and a discussion about how much risk you want to take on yourself and how much risk you want to put on the insurance company. And from that, then we can build that plan that best suits you, so that you are confident in that insurance decision, and ultimately you feel like you're properly insured.
And being properly insured doesn't happen by accident. It is something that we need to be conscious of, strive for, and consult the right professional like you at Stewart Insurance, you and the team, that is, at Stewart Insurance.
Absolutely. That's what we strive for every day, is making sure that our clients are properly insured, that they're confident in that decision, and we can work with you on, your real estate business insurance, your real estate broker, property management firm. We can help your clients on their individual insurance. We can help you on your individual insurance, on your team members' individual insurance, or if you're just a fan of real estate and love listening to Bill Napick and Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title.
And John Bramblett.
And John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. We can help you with your insurance as well.
Yes, such broadcasting titans. In fact, I'm going to make a suggestion at this time of the year, whether you're an individual, whether you have a family, it's time for a family meeting. I say that, let's take a husband and wife. You sit down at the table this time of year and say, let's just see, where are we buying insurance? What are our needs right now? Do we have children, car? Do they have 16? Are they 17? Whatever it is, let's write down. I bet if we just wrote that, had the exercise of writing each insurance policy we have, we might forget one or two. We itemize them. Are we getting the right insurance? Do we have the right amount of policies? Do we have to add one? Do we have to subtract one? Then you're on the road to being properly insured, especially when you make the call to Stewart Insurance.
Absolutely. Have that discussion and determine what are you concerned about? What's changed in your life? And then have your conversation with your insurance advisor, hopefully with Stewart Insurance, so we can determine if there needs to be some changes in your coverage.
And how can they reach you, John?
866-798-2827, 866-798-2827, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com. That's stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And the number again is?
866-798-2827.
Thank you, John Bramblett. Here we are at the end of the show and have Nathan Marks and Carrie Smith. Hey, guys, let's say goodbye to everybody, and let's remind people how they can reach out to you again. Nathan.
Right. Nathan Marks, RE/MAX Integrity, the Marks Group, 713-419-3284.
Carrie Smith with RE/MAX Integrity, the Marks Group, 713-299-0826.
Hey, you guys are awesome, and thank you for being on the show once again. We thank Lynn Riddle, our business development officer, out there doing tremendous work, and she invited you. That's awesome, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
And we got free lunch out of it, too.
That's right.
Oh, is that right?
You got to hit them up for something, right?
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Napick, and until next week, go to stewart.com/Houston to hear any and all the shows. That's stewart.com/Houston.